Here we're looking at sugar addiction. And I'm just going to leave this slide here for a second because as you can see, there's actually tons of research now that supports this sweet tooth. But obviously it's not in your mouth, it's more so the connection between your gut and your brain. And what the research is telling us is that if you've got a lot of sugar in your diet and you don't actually know where it's coming from, you're going to be not only thinking you're not taking in too much sugar, but you're also going to be craving sugar all throughout the day. So vitally important we find out where the sugar is in our diet to improve our overall well-being. The one most important bit of information I want you to take away from this slide is to know that 1 teaspoon of sugar is the equivalent of 4 grams. So if you look at the back of any packet, you now know that if there's 30 grams of sugar, that's roughly the equivalent of about 7 teaspoons, 7.5 teaspoons. And I'm not saying you need to check every piece of food, but if you're running through the airport to catch a flight and you maybe pick up a protein bar and there's one beside it that has maybe half the amount of sugar, it just means that you're picking the better option. And over the long period, that has a massive impact, positive impact on your body. Also, another useful bit of information is that you might not see sugar on the back of a pack, but that doesn't necessarily mean there's no sugar in there, because what I'm showing you here, and it's just for you to have as a piece of information, this is all the other names that you might see on the back of a pack that essentially means sugar. So just be wary of seeing things like, maltodextrose or dextrose or sucrose, anything ending in OSE, or things like, high fructose corn syrup or concentrated fruit juice. These all actually mean sugar, just by a different name. So be aware of that, because that's one way that we can actually be tricked into buying certain products. When you look at an ingredients list, where you'll be able to notice some of that information is down here where you see total carbohydrates. So we can see here total carbohydrates, and where you see dietary fiber and sugar, that's generally where you will see the likes of dextrose. So just be wary that if you are looking at a product, that's where you're going to find that information, either there or actually in the ingredients list. And I'm sure we all know this, but in terms of looking at an ingredients list, the first ingredient on the actual list is the one that's in there in the highest amount. And then as you go along, obviously it goes down. So that sometimes can be a good bit of information to take on board also.